Good afternoon from Silverstone in the UK. You join us live for the second quarterfinals for this year's Esports Dirt Rally 2.0 FIA World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. We've already had some brilliant action earlier on today with the Dirt Rally 2.0 Rally Series, which was good fun. Super close action as always, but we're getting towards the shouty part of the day. Going to liven ourselves up in time, let's say, for some Rallycross action. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me is John Armstrong. Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon. It's great to be back. The first qualifiers in Rallycross was something else. The action was unbelievable. So hopefully today we're going to see more great action and good battles out there.
Yeah, should be good fun. So we have lined up for you 3 different tracks, 3 different venues, and with 3 different cars as well. And we're going to be deciding, I say, a few drivers are going to make it through. I think we've got 2 more drivers who are going to go through from the quarterfinals today to the semi-finals. And we've got 1 last set of quarterfinals to come, which is in early December. So you guys can qualify for that. If you like what you see, you might even stand a chance of being in the quarterfinals next time. Last time out, it was super close. So take a look back at what happened in the first quarterfinals. Good start for Killian from P2 on the grid, trying to shut the door on the inside line. Still he's in the door, going wide again. 5 cars wide, never going to make that work. Back, can he manage to get out in front? He can't. Louis Lejeune gets him. It's a good start off the line for Killian Delhomme, gives them all plenty of room. Oh, and it's only just in front and up the inside now. Louis Lejeune trying to make a pass on Killian Delhomme. Pushes Delhomme wide. Delhomme has the right-hand side on the run down to the hairpin. Puts all the way out to the wall. Lopez, Ludovic and Luke Fournier on the outside. Super clean in the background. No taking out on the brakes though. Bit brave on the run to that turn 3. The lead super close between the 2. Got the inside line now for the last right-hand. They're going to try and come round the long right. Up on top there, that's actually my commentary box. Here we go, over the jump, hit the curb on the left, hit the curb on the right, try and slot back out into traffic if you can. Good start for Lopez on the inside, down towards the first corner. Got the whole shot. Is anyone going to come around the outside? It looks like it is. Side by side with the P3 car. So now a fight for 3rd place. And in the background, that's a spin for Page. Off the line, so Wesley Wicken definitely up in 2nd gear. They're in way more wheel spin than that. He's going to hold that inside line tight on the run to the first corner. Coming out the outside, Wesley Wicken's going to get past Delhomme. That's the difference between P1 and P2. There goes Quinton Delhomme. Wickens goes Joker. Delhomme changes his mind and goes to the standard lap. So Ryohei Iwama, whole shot Joker, straight lights to flag victories. Good start by Huss. Delhomme, though, is easily equal on the run down to the first corner. Delhomme got enough room to turn in. On his inside is Iwami. Wesley Wickens backs out of it. Whole shot Delhomme. Bourlier's already on the back of the pack. He's joking. He's there. Wickens has got to get through now. Gets mugged again up the inside. Miles in front. Absolutely killed it. Iwami's going to come out in P2. Good start, Wickens low in the RPM off the line, but inside him, Iwami's got away, and Huss has as well. Wickens has been eaten up at the start here. Quinton Delhomme has the inside line. Watch for Quinton Delhomme at the merge. Huss comes out in front. He holds on for the win. Alexander Huss holds on for the win. Final race. Wet conditions. He's out in P4, surely can't from there, backs out, they're going to go standard lap, lets everybody run wide. So they're a long way in front, look, it's 3.4, there's 2 seconds between Pelletier and Lucas Delhomme. Delhomme joking on his own on the first lap, might not make it. It's a perfect joker from both of them, a tidy joker from Pelletier in the background as well, who runs the car on the wall. Later anyway, out front, Louis Lejeune has 2 corners to go, round the last right-hander, understeer again, this time it doesn't matter. He's going to take the checkered flag and with it, backs it in over the line for a spot in the semi-finals. Killian Delhomme, the world champion, goes through with him. Sylvain Pelletier takes P. So quite a few of our known suspects, if you like, our regular suspects making it through last time out. In Rally early on today, we saw quite a number of drivers who didn't make the cut in the first quarter-final coming back for a second crack at it. And looking down the list of drivers in front of me, we've got a lot of people coming back for a second attempt. John, we were talking earlier on today that it's quite nice for us, and certainly for the drivers at home, if they don't make it, at least they get another go at it. But we're going to see, the result of that is we're probably going to see really strong semi-finals. I mean, the quarter-finals are strong enough.
Well, that's it. The guys who didn't get through in the first rounds are going to be here today and looking to get through. It's not guaranteed, but we know they're very quick. They still have to do the job today to get through. But, yeah, they're going to be up against very hungry underdogs today.
Yes, certainly. So a great lineup of drivers in this quarter-final, and we can take a look at the format as well as to how we've done the qualifying so far and the fact that you guys have got 1 more chance to make it. So this is how we've got to the point we're at in the competition. So 9 events over 12 weeks across the 3 platforms, PlayStation, Xbox and Steam. We've had a weekly winner, that's the fastest driver. And then after that we have accumulative times for the drivers behind, so the top 3 going through, which puts 6 through into the quarter-finals on each of the platforms. from that, the top 2 are going through to the semi-finals. So here you can see top 2 each week. In fact, next time out, early December, the 5th of December, I think we'll only have the top 1 advancing for Rallycross. There'll be 5 going through to the semis. 19th of December, and the drivers going through then from each of the semi-finals. That will get us down to our final drivers for the grand final. 16th, 17th of January, the Autosport Show in 2021 is where we're hoping to be doing that. And from there we'll be crowning our champions for the FA World RX Esports Series, and also, of course, the Dirt Rally 2.0 World Championships as well. We saw some great fights last time in Rallycross. In terms of format for today, so what we're doing, we're going to go through the platform. So we'll be going, starting off with Steam, then it's PS4, and then Xbox, so that's PC first of all. So we'll see everybody's Q1, then everybody's Q2, finally through to everybody's Q3, and then their final. So 3 qualifiers, no semi-finals, straight into the final. The guys on PC are playing with Super 1600 they're playing at Portugal, Montalegre, so loads of gravel, big curbs, big cuts, mega place. We've then got RX2 on the PlayStation. That's going to be at Barcelona, where we were in the FA World Rallycross Championship just a couple of weeks ago. And then we're moving on to Xbox, which will be Hell in Norway. Yep, it's genuinely called Hell. It's a beautiful place near Trondheim. Lunkebanen is the correct name for it. Look at that, eh? So, yeah, Xbox, basically. And those guys are racing in, I guess they're going to be in Supercar, seeing as we're in the others. Yes, they are. They're going to be in Supercar. So, yeah, some great action coming up for you across the different tracks, across the different categories in terms of cars. And we will be seeing who makes it through to the semi-finals today. John, what's your favourite? Super 1600, RX2 or Supercar?
It's a tough one. I do like front-wheel drive cars, but there's so much power on these Super 1600 cars, it can be hard to eliminate understeer. And obviously they're in a gravel track, or mostly gravel. There's only a little bit of tarmac in Montalegre, so it's going to be tricky. Supercars all day long, I think. You know, you're able to balance them on the throttle a lot more. They've got so much horsepower, so that's my favourite, I think.
Very, very different driving styles between these 3 different cars, and also between the tracks, I say. So if you're not familiar, Montalegre in Portugal is up a mountain. It's gravel with big curbs. You head down to Barcelona, it's on the F1 circuit at the end of the lap. It's much smoother. The gravel tends to rubber in there. You don't have big curbs. You've got tyre barriers which you can clip, and it's game over straight away. And then if you go to Hell, well, that's just a completely different thing altogether again. So first corner joker. First corner actually at Montalegre as well, but in a really different way. Barcelona used to be a last corner joker. It's now roughly in the middle of the lap because they moved the start line a couple of years ago. I'm sure you'll know all about that if you had a look last time when we were on the real life World Rallycross Championship. So we're going to take a look at Montalegre, which is going to be the first track we're going to see. So have a look at this. What a brilliant track. Montalegre in Portugal, 1,050 metres above sea level. This one is a real roller coaster. 60% asphalt and 40% dirt, and it's real dirt. We ride on board with Solberg down towards turn 1. It is a very big stop, regardless of whether you come from the start or the normal lap. He takes the standard lap. The joker comes around the outside and merges on the left here. Now into the really committed part, round to the right and the left. Look at this. It drops away. Solberg uses the handbrake to tip the car in through the dip and up over the huge Montalegre curbs onto this dirt section, which does clean up and can make a difference to lap time. Round the right-hander, this one tightens, and it's important to get the car lined up close on the inside. Solberg does it perfectly. Pop it up over the curb on the left, close to the barrier on the right. Big commitment through the final chicane, and that is a lap of Montalegre. One lap. I just want one lap in that car. You know what I mean, don't you? I mean, that is just, it's a weapon. You know the Polo is a very difficult car to beat, but seeing the Polo in the hands of Solberg, the left-hander, the last one on tarmac, just before he goes onto the gravel, commentary box used to be opposite that. You'd see him in 4th gear and a nip on the handbrake. Mega. Fantastic. John, do you want a lap in that?
I'd love a lap in that. I couldn't think of anything more I'd like to drive.
No, I know.
You know, I've done bits and pieces of Rallycross in the buggies, but
yes.
I'd love to get behind the wheel of a proper Rallycross car. Yeah. Going wheel to wheel and having a bit more contact, leaning on guys.
Yeah, you can't
have
contact in the buggies. You know, like it's an absolute no-no, isn't it?
Yeah. Ask Tom on So Cool about it.
Hey, Tom. Right, here we're going to go racing in Montalegre for our first qualifier with PC. Okay, you are behind Sylvain Pelletier. To the right is Lucas Del Olmo. On the pole is Michael Karjalainen. To the left, we've got Daniel Johansson, who missed out earlier on today in rally. And on the far outside, you've got Thomas Aberg. interesting that the names at the top of the screen suggest something differently. So down towards the first corner in the Super 1600 cars. 3 drivers going late and heading down into the Joker lap immediately. Tight between them, need to try and avoid the bollards on the way back out. We're using in-game penalties for this, side by side in the background. Pelletier, Mateja and Johansson. I haven't got Mateja on my entry here, so just trying to find out exactly what's happening with that. We'll try and get race control to update us on why Mateja's name's appeared in this one. Currently showing in P4. Out front, Karjalainen and Lucas Dal Olmo taking the standard lap.
Yeah, Lucas just right behind him, following right in his tracks. It'll be interesting to see if anyone goes for the Joker now. We see Lucas goes into the Joker.
So Lucas Dal Olmo gone Joker, hoping to get out on the merge in the background ahead of Pelletier and Mateja, but it looks like he's dropped down into P4.
Yeah, he's just missed out there in the merge. Obviously lost a bit of time behind Michael on the first lap.
I think it's Aberg that's in the car that's marked as Mateja, but I'm not sure. So we will try and find out. Apologies for that. Riding on board with Pelletier, looking back at looking back at car in P3. Say Mateja, or potentially no, it is the black car. It's Thomas Aberg who's in P3. So Aberg, not Mateja. Out front, Pelletier now. Everybody's Joker within a couple of laps, and actually it hasn't worked out. Not low Joker in the first lap, John, hasn't worked out at all. Yeah,
it looked like Michael was maybe holding up Lucas on that first lap, and thankfully Lucas Delamo was in third, but yeah, it seemed like they lost a bit of pace, and the first lap Joker was the right one.
Through that right-hander, there's the section where you can be a little bit exploratory, let's say, with track limits. Over the curb at the start-finish line, and now down towards turn 1 again. Final lap for these guys. Nobody left to Joker, and I suspect we won't see any overtaking manoeuvres here. Sylvain Pelletier, have a look and see what Sylvain's attempt was last time. Some of these guys, I say, are back for another crack at qualifying. Pelletier, yeah, he was around 1 qualifier, but he didn't make it through. So Pelletier trying to make up for quarterfinals, not going his way last time out. Coming around, going to take the first win. So Pelletier over the line. P2, pretty sure it's Thomas Aberg in P2. P3, Lucas Dal Olmo. Then it's Daniel Johansson and Michael Karjalainen. 5-second penalty for Karjalainen. So where would Karjalainen would have been in P4 look, and that's almost certainly track limits, John.
I think it's probably a little bit too greedy on one of those curbs, and he's got a corner cutting penalty. But that was a good first race. No crazy contact or anything. It was nice and clean, and yeah, we've seen that first lap Joker is probably the right one. Yeah, tactically it tends to work out well in real life as well. We are looking to go to PS4. So apologies for some confusion as to who was actually in the car. I'm looking down and I'm pretty sure, trying to find Mateja. I think Mateja's qualified already. Looking down my list, can't find what I want to find. John, can you find it? We were talking about Lucas earlier on today. No idea. Okay. He's on the...
Yes, he's on the list, yeah.
He's on the entry list.
Qualified in Rally, and he was on Steam. Okay, so we've got some sort of an issue there, and we'll have to get that sorted. I say, there we are. Apologies, no worries. We're digging deep. We're on the WhatsApp. Strongly worded WhatsApp going in now to race control. Who was in the mystery car? Was it Mateja or was it Aberg on Steam? There we go. Don't worry about it. So we're heading on to PS4. In this one, we've got Ryohei Iwami. We had a brilliant performance by some of the Japanese drivers earlier on today. I think we saw one qualify, didn't we, and one miss out. Am I right? We did some quick maths, and it wasn't very good, John, which is fine because I'm renowned for that as well. And I'd be a bit disappointed if I found a co-commentator who's really good at maths because that just makes me look even worse. Yeah, I'm not going to try that one again. I don't think I got it wrong, but yeah, there was Kazuna Koda went through on the rally, and yeah, unfortunately, one of the other Japanese drivers just missed out, but fantastic to see them doing so well, and we've got more guys now in the Rallycross. We have indeed. In fact, we are going to head to Xbox rather than PS4, so we're just waiting for a couple of people in the lobby for PS4. So Xbox, we're heading to Hell in Norway, another one of the fantastic classic tracks from the FA World Rallycross Championship. Take a look at this. Hell in Norway. It's the 6th year for this track in the World Championship. It's one of the classics. 1,119 metres with the Joker lap. It's a 63% asphalt, 37% dirt split.
We ride on board with Andreas backward over the jump at the start finish into turn 1. He takes the standard lap. The Joker lap goes wide there on the loose. Then the merges here also on the loose. Spectacular every time. Braking, hook the curbs on the left. Downhill, that one's blind on the way in. Flat out through the right-hander. Down towards another braking zone. On tar, onto gravel. Get it as close to the curb as you can. Backward doesn't get it quite right this time. Bit late on the brakes. Over-rotates and runs a bit deep. On the gas, then up the hill on the loose again. As close as you dare on the right. As close as you dare on the left. Balance the car here on the brakes, get it turned into the right-hand side, and it's on the power for a steep run up back to the finish.
Fantastic circuit, hell. That was Andreas backward in the Audi, of course, which was last year for Monster Energy RX Cartel. He's having a tough year this year in the Megane, although better performance last time out in Barcelona until that first corner incident. And I'm sure you all get your own opinions on that. I think the stewards are right on this occasion, but social media went mad. They do like a chat on the old social, don't they, when it doesn't go their driver's way? That's
it, yeah. You know, all these incidents, there's always two sides to it, and it's always hard to make a call and say who is right or wrong. But yeah, I think they probably made the right decision, and it's hard to call these things.
Yeah, wouldn't stewarding, not my favourite job. Okay, Xbox, this time up. We are behind Ludovic Lopez. To the right, you've got Luc Fournier, Enzo Nordeslandes down in the first corner, down in the middle of the grid though. Great start from Ludovic up towards turn 1, goes straight to the Joker lap. Inside, it looks like Luc Fournier's gone Joker as well, and Maxence Cosno, or Cosno Maxence too, so 3 drivers. Handbrake runs a bit wide, Maxence looks up the inside, can't quite make that stick. And down towards the last, the bottom corner, Jared Petch leading out front.
That was a mega move by Jared Petch. He undercut the guys on the outside of the grid. He pulled back a little bit, made the undercut into turn 1, and now he's in the lead.
Perfect. So now it's a case, John, of whether or not he wants to react and try and cover them off in the Joker. I don't know if you think you've got pace, yeah, and he's going to go for a couple of laps. I think that's the right approach. As behind him, Senzo 0113 goes into the Joker. That is Enzo Nordeslandes has gone Joker lap. You're looking at Luc Fournier, Ukiki 62, who's out earlier on today in Rally. How difficult is it for those guys having to prep for both quarterfinals on the same day?
I think it's really, really difficult. You know, which one do you focus on more? Are you more confident in Rally, or are you more confident in Rallycross? And yeah, I guess if your favourite's Rally, maybe that's the one you practice.
So I was going to say, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Because in theory, you practice the one you're weaker at. But if you think you've got a better chance of making it in the other category, then surely you go with that.
Yeah, you probably prioritise the one that you're better at. But you just see Jared Petch now. He's doing the right thing. He's got a clear road in front of him. He needs to try and go as fast as he can. And I think Joker on the last lap.
Interesting driving style, isn't it? We know it's not quite the same style as used in real life. These guys tend to get on the bar, get the car fully sideways. Again, you should see it in the hairpin here. So pitch it in, handbrake, get the car straight, and then on the gas. And it's almost coming to a stop in the corner, John.
It's a proper backwards entry,
yeah,
isn't it? A can block move. But yeah, the guys are just trying to use as much forward momentum out of the corner.
Pesh in the Joker lap now, and he's lost out. So wrong decision, not able to do the lap times to get the undercut. And Luc Fournier in the lead now. So Fournier hoping for a good performance here after the rally attempt earlier on today. I can't remember if Fournier qualified or not, can you?
He did not, and don't forget he was in the Q1 of Rallycross as well and didn't get through, so hopefully he can get through today.
So Fournier, this third attempt then, isn't it, across the two different categories. Coming up to take the flag, it's a win for Luc Fournier. There we are. So Ukiki 62 is Luc Fournier in P1. Then you've got VRX Primity, which is Cosno Maxence. And then Jared Pesh. And the reason I recognise Jared is Jared, of course, was in some of the pro esports events earlier on this year, along with, of course, the Dalolmo brothers. We also had Lucas Mateja. It was, by the way, Mateja in the first race. So apologies, our entry lists here not matching up. There was a mistake in the background. So it was indeed Lucas, sorry, yes. I'll tell you what, I've no idea. Lucas Mateja, that's who it was. I've got, because there's two Lucases. There's a Lucas Dalolmo in there. They're terribly selfish, all having the same name. We must have that avoided in all future esports competitions. So we should just be left now with PlayStation 2. I'm hoping will be in their pre-grid and ready to go. We are ready to go. In fact, we can take a look back. If you weren't watching a couple of weeks ago, how dare you? But if you weren't, and you need a reminder of what the Barcelona Rallycross track is like, take a look at this.
Here is a look at the circuit here in Barcelona. The start course on the F1 straight into a hairpin left, up the hill onto the dirt. It's a jump, then the Joker split. The exit from the Joker is super fast with a merge on that back straight into the long sweeping left, and then a chicane and a run down the hill on the dirt to the hairpin finish. 60% asphalt, 40% dirt. And we're going to ride on board for a lap with Kevin Hansen. Off the line and flat out down towards turn 1, it's a hairpin left. If you get to pick your line here when there are 5 cars, you're very lucky indeed. On the gas and pulling gears up the hill before switching onto gravel for the first time. Really important to hug the wall on the right hand side here and make sure you keep the car on the clean piece of track. In close to the wall on the left and then over the jump. Back on the brakes immediately, turning to the right. The standard lap here goes left. We take the Joker lap down the hill. Clip Apex 1, back into Apex 2, and now find the traction and on the gas up for the merge. Your spotter here can help you defend or take a position. One straight at Barcelona, this is it before back on the brakes. It's a very long left-hander on tar. Get the car balanced before you turn it hard to the right, back onto dirt, and then handbrake into the left. Scrabble for traction down the hill. A few more gears on the brakes nice and early. You don't want to overshoot the final hairpin of the track. Handbrake, get the car straight, and gas to the line.
Yeah, interesting first corner here in Barcelona, and that's where the issues were last time out. So I know a number of questions came in for real World Rallycross as to why Larson was penalised for the move and Kristoffersson wasn't. Larson came across 4 cars and kind of shut the door on all of them into the apex, whereas it was judged that Kristoffersson was ahead and that Backerud didn't brake, basically, and drove into the back of Kristoffersson. So the fans were saying, OK, well, he shut the door. The steward said, no, actually, he was a car length in front. So always a tricky job. It's a very tricky turn 1. It's one of those ones where you can drop back a little bit, John. If you don't win the start, let everyone go deep in turn 1 and get the undercut on inside.
Exactly. You want to get in nice and neat into the first corner, try and undercut them and get into apex.
So this is RX2, left to right. It's Jeffrey Bourlier, then it's Ryohei Iwami, Sylvain Laville, Dorian Martin and Damien French. Down towards turn 1, you're on board with Sylvain Laville. Misses out at the apex, possibly going to hold on to P2, runs out to the paint. We've got a car in the barrier on the outside in the background. Somebody trying around the outside move on gravel up in turn 2. Not going to happen around there. Always end up dropping back. We've dropped down indeed to P4 side by side over the jump in front. Looks like our leader is Dorian Martin. Out front, down into the Joker lap, on board with Sylvain Laville. Goes Joker, having lost out on the start. Pretty good move, I think.
Yeah, it was Jeffrey Bouleret that had the mistake at the beginning, just run into the tyre barriers. And yeah, it's been a tricky first lap. Bit of contact going into turn 1, which we expected as well.
Slippery conditions now in real life. This is lethal coming down the hill. You've got to get the car stopped at the apex, and pretty similar, I think, here in the RX2 cars as well. Very much a momentum car. Up and sideways, you can see a big handful of opposite lock on the way. And John, you can't chuck these about like you can a supercar. They don't have the power to pull it back out of the slides.
That's it. You want to be a little bit more neat and tidy, like the Super 1600 car. Drive it a bit more neater. Try not to slide too much and follow the front wheels with the rear.
I think it's much more realistic in terms of how they drive the cars in real life, is the behaviour of Super 1600 and RX2. And I guess that's something that you guys at Codemasters work on, you know, over the years to get it closer to what it's like in real life.
Yeah, 100%. You know, the guys in the car handling team, they get lots and lots of data, and they try to set every car up as it should be to the real life counterpart, and that's why each car has a unique character.
RX2 cars fairly tricky, I would say, to drive in the game, so you've got to make no mistakes. Everybody waiting for a late Joker now. I wonder whether or not it's cost. No, there's still a gap at the back of the field, so you can see, can't you, even though Jeffrey Boullier made that mistake on the first lap. 2 into the Joker now. So next box and TRX3 Smokey both going into the Joker. And that leaves out front Dorian Martin. And then Jeffrey Bourlier now up into P2. But obviously with that mistake, wondering how much closer he can get by the end of the race. In theory, if he can manage to get a bit of a gap, we're going on to the last lap, so I imagine he's going to get eaten up by at least the 2 cars close behind. Over the jump now with the leader. Going to go Joker this time round. Watch diving down into the Joker lap in the background, looking for P2. It's an absolutely massive lead. Huge lead. Coming around, Dorian Martin back onto the standard lap. Nobody anywhere near. So Dorian Martin definitely marking himself out as somebody who's going to be super quick. Next box is Damien French. in P2. We're riding on board at the back of the field.
Boulier did get past, so not last place after that first corner incident.
Yeah, and stopping in the tyre bag for ages. Down at the finish line, we have our winner. Around and over the line now, and that will stop the clocks for us. So horribly long usernames. It's Dorian Martin who takes the win from next box, which is Damien French. Then you've got SHZ Ranovka, which is Ryohei Awami. And then GRT Arrows Jeffrey Boulier, and TRX3 Smokey is Sylvain Laville. First race done across all 3 platforms. Okay, there we go. So switching between the tracks, a load of new drivers as well. Lots of stuff for us to be keeping up with. Interesting performance, pretty dominant performance there for me on PS4.
Yeah. It was quite clear that it was Dorian Martin that got a nice gap there, went away out in front. But it was quite a hectic start to the race. It was a bit of contact going into turn 1, and we've seen that incident where one car ran into the tyres. Yeah,
it got pushed out wide, so not what you need. You need a tidy start there, but it can be. This is where we need the stewards as well, and that's the difference between rally and rallycross. Is people can get a little bit too enthusiastic in turn 1. I don't think there was anybody at fault there, but we saw it in Barcelona in real life. It's a tough turn 1. It's probably not my favourite turn 1. It's only 3rd gear in a supercar and into a hairpin left. I like to see a more open turn 1, turn 2, because I think you see more position changing.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, and you want to get a good start and try to get in ahead of everyone else. But yeah, there's a bit of contact coming in there with some guys that got crossed up like this. They all straightened out, and I think the incident into the tyre barriers was just getting run out wide and run out of room. So I think it was just a racing incident. Okay,
there you go. Racing incident from John. I like to hear from a driver always. I think we'll be heading back to Steam in a moment, which is going to be in Montalegre. I don't know whether or not we've got our drivers ready. Are we waiting in the lobby for people, or are we good to go? Not hearing a lot from race control right now, so still in the lobby. They're still in the lobby. So, John, they can change setups and stuff on these cars. You get the data, obviously, back at HQ. I guess you can see when people are doing the times. You get to see what those lap times are. Can you see the setup changes people have made from the data you get at your end, or is it not that clever?
We can't actually see what people are doing. That's quite tricky to know, isn't it? Because people have different driving styles and they'll do different things to make their driving style better on a track with the car. But you definitely can see when guys are tuning, and you'll see that everyone is pretty much tuning. That's up the top of the leader times. And
for someone like me who doesn't play the game enough to want to be sweeping settings for 5 days to try and find out, I'm not consistent enough to feel the difference, and that's the thing, isn't it? These guys are consistent enough. Is there like a resource? Is there somewhere people can go to nick some of these settings? Are they online anywhere?
Definitely on YouTube. There's lots of quick drivers that are kind enough to put their setups on YouTube so anyone can see them. So yeah, it's just a matter of going to YouTube and typing in the track and car that you want to set up for, and you should find it. And
have you tried some of the other driver setups? Do they work for you or not really?
I have and I haven't. Sometimes I like to go in and I'll know what I want to do, but if I'm a little bit lost for inspiration or where I'm going to go with the setup, then I will go on YouTube and just see what other drivers are doing, and sometimes it just unlocks a little secret
one little thing that they've spent. Yeah, see, John's busy developing the game. He can't always be changing the settings and doing the testing. Okay, we are behind Lucas Dall'Olmo in the middle of the grid. Sylvain Pelletier is to your right. It is Lucas Mateja, remember, who's on pole. Daniel Hansen to your left, and Michael Karjalainen outside. Here we go, waiting for the start lights there. Underneath that gantry that says Montalegre. Dall'Olmo with a fairly slow start. Don't know if he's tardy off the line, but lost out at the start. Definitely dropping back now, going to get squeezed. Where's Dall'Olmo going to go? I reckon standard lap. Going to see 5 cars go, Joker. Absolute nightmare. That is a shocker for me in terms of tactics. Anybody who was at the back half of that grid, that's the cardinal sin, John. That's terrible.
That's crazy. Someone should have done an undercut. It's quite hard though, isn't it? Because these guys are all using a monitor. Their peripheral view isn't that good.
Agreed.
Sometimes you don't know.
That's where you could do with VR, because off a rallycross start, I can tell you, you spend a lot of time looking left and right. If you've got time, a supercar maybe sometimes not so much time, but you're looking left and right to see physically, am I ahead? So I agree. And I suppose the problem here as well is that if you committed to the brakes into the Joker lap, but now they've left themselves with the only opportunity being a pass on track, which Dall'Olmo looks for now, ends up clattering into the side. Mateja now is right in behind, so Pelletier out front. Dallomo tried to make a pass into the hairpin. Matasia was right there. There was a little bit of contact on the exit. Monster in the curbs on the right and the left-hand side of the track. Oh, it's a disaster. You know, one of them should surely have gone 3. You know, if you're in the rear 2, you're going to know from the braking point that the other's going that way. Go deep on the standard lap. Because if they get in a scrap as well, like now, it doesn't matter now because everybody's gone Joker. But when you're in a scrap, you're slowing each other down. So tactically, somebody should have gone standard lap.
Yeah, someone should have definitely went for a Joker or a standard lap, I mean. But yeah, it's quite tricky sometimes. You can outbrake yourself into the braking zone, and then you've no choice just to go for that Joker.
Go Joker, yeah, you have to go deep. Same in Norway, isn't it? In hell. Yeah, okay. But you see, this is where I've said before about using real-life spotters. If you use a real-life spotter, you end up with that situation where they've got eyes outside. But I suppose if they've got the delay of the feed where you're playing in real life, it's probably going to be behind anyway.
That's it. It can be very tricky to sync things up to know where you are on the track. If a spotter's watching, it's not going to be 100% accurate.
Pelletier runs a little bit wide. Dallomo, though, unable to make any headway. Matasia in P3. I suppose interestingly here as well, don't forget that these guys, this really is, all of these races, these 3 qualifying races are just for position in the final grid. And it's the final which is what decides which 2 drivers go through. So, and up the inside, Dallomo tries to make a move at the last corner, but can't quite get it done. Pelletier going to take it. Dallomo and Matasia right behind Matasia, looking for a pass, but Dallomo hugs the barrier on the inside. Karjalainen and Johansson coming through. Danny Johansson not getting the pace that he would like to expect today. Already been out in the rally, as we say, but it is Pelletier who takes it. Who won the first one? Can you remember? Was it?
It was Pelletier.
Pelletier.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pelletier looking good for pole at the moment. We might be able to bring you some scores ahead of some of the later qualifying sessions. So we've got one more qualifying session left to go on Steam, and that's going to decide who gets the inside line. Pole quite important here, I think. And if you're on pole, in some ways you can force, not so much as you can in Norway. In Norway, you can actually force the whole grid or anybody who's outside you. Remember, we're doing a line start here, not a grid start in the same way. So with a grid start, it doesn't work quite so well. But with a line start, you can force the whole grid to go wide with you in Norway. Maybe not here, though, because you can back off on the outside and make the undercut. So
it's a tricky one, isn't it? You know, being on pole, that's where you want to be. Try and get into turn 1 in the lead and take it from there. But if someone can make a good start, go into the Joker, and then have no traffic, no one in front, and make up time, that could be the solution to go for and a good tactic.
Yeah, okay. So pole, not always. We've had this discussion loads of times in real life, particularly Barcelona, which is where we're going in a moment with PlayStation. Do you want to be on the pole? Because it's so slow and so tight, you have to win the start if you're on pole. The drivers all say, I want to be on pole, because winning the start, if you're on pole, guarantees you've got the whole shot. But if you don't win that start or someone takes an alternative line behind you, it can be tricky from the inside. So we're going to head to Barcelona with the PlayStation 4. We can take a look at the standings after Q1, which will give us a good idea of who to watch out for in terms of form in this one. It was Dorian Martin who won the first race, followed by Damien French. I was going to make a note of this right now. In P3 was Ryohei Awami, 4th was Boulier, and 5th was Laville. So it's you can see at the top of the table you get a big points bonus for winning or coming P2 in a session. It's a 5-point gap, then a 3-point gap. And that's what you want in terms of wins if you want to get the pole, which of course you want to get the pole. You know, you're going to do your best to get it, even if it's not the best position. Something in a driver's head says, I desperately want to be on the inside line. And we saw this with the draw. I'll tell you when it changes with the draw. If you've watched Real World Rallycross, we work on a draw where it's a random draw for grid positions. And sometimes they'll all pick the last race because of track development. And we haven't got quite the same thing here.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, we've got track degradation in rallying, but not in the rallycross in game. It would obviously be something that would be nice to bring sometime in the future, for sure. It would add another element of strategy.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, if you had to pick your spot, if the track was going to get quicker as the session went on, meaning that later, I want to see RPM as well. That's the other thing I really want to see is I want to see people choosing start RPM. We are behind, I think, Sylvain Laville. We are to the right. Dorian, no, sorry, maybe not. No, I'm not sure who is on the grid there either. It looked to me like they were in their grid positions from Q1, which is interesting. Well, on board now with TRX3 Smokey, which is Sylvain Laville, who was 5th in the first race. So a good start. for Sylvain Laville. Who's going to go Joker on this first lap? Not the leader. Is anybody going to go? Surely somebody goes in the background. 2 drivers did go, I think, on board with next box, who's gone in. So next box is Damien French, who was P2 in the first race. And in front, DiRT Arrow, which is Geoffrey Boulier.
Geoffrey Boulier had that mistake in the first race and then was able to gap back up again. So now he's got a bit of free road ahead of him. Can he challenge for the win?
Yeah, both these guys were fast, weren't they? Same mistake before. So they're going to try and close down the gap to the top guys. At the moment, it's 4.6 seconds from the leader. So I don't know, if I was leading right now, if I was Sylvain Laville, I might be tempted to go Joker just to cover them off behind, but doesn't. Stays out in P2, though. That is Dorian Martin, who won the first race, has gone Joker. So can Martin get out in the background behind? Would really like to see the merge. There it is. Dorian Martin, did he come around the outside of the guys? I think so. Yes, so Dorian Martin holding on to P2, having jokered. So now it's a 3.2 second gap, which is in favour of Sylvain Laville. A look at a pass down at the hairpin, very tricky to get through there.
That gap's coming down. I think I would go for the Joker now to block him off.
Yeah, losing time. So got to go now as the gap is closing. Big flick, they're going to go standard lap, and that's time lost, John. So I think they're watching the timing, looking at the gap. It was 3.0. What is it now? We're not going to see it. 2.5, lost another 0.5 of a second here. So I'm afraid TRX3 Smokey, Sylvain Laville, who was 5th last time out, is getting eaten up here by Dorian Martin, who won the last race. So in P2, in the standard colours, if you like, for the RX2 car. This lap round going to have to go Joker. John surely can't pull back from the one. 2.5, 2.3, loses another 0.2.
It's going to be close still, but I think he missed his opportunity to go for the Joker on the previous lap. And you could see he was struggling with the pressure. He was making some mistakes as well.
Over the jump now, watch in front. The leader will go Joker. We're going to go standard lap. This is the leader now, coming around the left-hander. We'll be looking to see where the cars are, looking back, and that's it, job done. Going to hold on to P2 though, so not so bad in the end for Sylvain Laville, but Dorian Martin comes around to take the lead, and I don't think we'll make any mistakes here. Sideways in the background again. So Sylvain Laville is quick, but maybe a little bit untidy. Fair play though. Still doing the lap times and going to get P2 in this one. And remember, it's not over. The nice thing about Rallycross is even if you have an absolute shocker in qualifying, you could still win it in the final. There we go, 5 cars over the line, and it is a win again for HRX RX Dino 83, which is Dorian Martin. He takes the win. TRX3 Smokey is in P2. It is our Japanese friend Ryohei Awami who is 3rd. Damien French is 5th. Sorry, Geoffrey Boulier is 5th, and Damien French is in 4th, I think. No, I've got that round the wrong way. 5th and 4th. There we go. Marvellous. Nothing like scribbling on a bit of paper whilst you're trying to figure out the timings. So 2 races done, 2 wins from 2 for Dorian Martin. Martin looking very difficult to beat here.
Yeah, he's looking very strong, in control, neat and tidy driving. Looks like he's comfortable in his strategy as well, so I think he's going to be difficult to beat. Yeah,
got to stay calm as well when you know you maybe didn't get the start you want and there's a car in front, but as we could see, he was the last lap. It was interesting watching him through the gravel section, super tidy. You know, when you're trying to chase that guy down, there's only one car. You know, you've only got to get one guy to take the win, but instead of pushing and losing time, you just chill, stay calm, do the lap time.
You have to be confident in what you're doing, don't you? And I think he knew at that stage he had it well under control and he could just take it nice and easy to the
Same
finish.
in real life though, isn't it? You know, it's that thing of push, 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 but don't push too much, don't lose too much time.
But sometimes if you start to back off too much, that's when you make a mistake as well. You think, I've got everything under control. Next minute, a little bit too early into the apex and you're clipping a barrier and that's it over. Just
checking with Dorian Martin, and Dorian Martin, the French driver, wasn't a qualifier in round 1. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 8 drivers in this quarterfinal who were in the previous quarterfinal and didn't make it through to the semi-final. So the depth of talent here is deep. On the line, we are behind Lopez Ludovic, I think, in P2 on the grid. We are Jared Pesh to the right in the white McGann. Pesh with a good start down towards turn 1. Pesh surely going to go standard lap, runs the car just a little bit too deep. 2 cars up the inside. Jared Pesh, has he got the inside line for the hairpin down at turn 2? We can't see whether he managed to hold on. He hasn't. Jared Pesh has dropped down into P3. Down towards the hairpin now at the bottom of the hill. It is Enzo Noel Salendez who is leading. Going up the hill, Jared Pesh made it up into P2.
The two guys that have done their joke lap are getting in each other's way, bumping into each other, and they're not doing each other any favours because they're not going to catch up any time.
Mistake by Pesh there as well. So Pesh has had an untidy lap here. I wonder if he might go joke and get himself out of traffic. You're seeing the leader in the background. No, it isn't Pesh who goes joker. It is El Tioto, which is Lopez Ludovic, has gone joker in the background. So what's the gap going to be for Enzo Noel Deslandes at the bottom of the hill? He's 1.4 ahead of Jared Pesh, but Jared Pesh now with that, so that front two guys, John, are in clean air. They can put in clean laps. It's up to them to choose now when they joker. The background 3 seconds back for VRX Primity, which is cause no make sense.
I would fancy jokering right now in the leading position.
And just try to come out back in front.
That's the problem. You're going to come back out behind Jared.
Yeah.
So he's stuck with the standard lap.
Yeah, but Jared doesn't matter, does it? You know, you can be behind Jared for a lap as long as you get out in front. But the gap has gone up. So the gap's gone up to 3.1 to VRX Primity. Still holding at 3.1 as they head down towards the bottom of the hill. Coming around that right-hander. Going to have to joker on this last lap. So you're looking at Enzo, Noel Deslandes, and Jared Pesh jokering on this lap. How much of a gap have they got? Is it going to be enough? It's gone up by another 10th, so a good job by Enzo out front. Going to try and come out in the lead. Watch for Jared Pesh. Where's Pesh going to merge? Is he inside? I don't think he's quite close enough. Luc Fournier looks to have gone up into P2. Yes, in fact, I think Pesh has dropped down. Yeah, Pesh has dropped down into P4.
Yeah, he lost out for 2 cars.
Yeah. It's Jared Pesh with an untidy couple of first laps. Got the whole shot and then just ran a tiny bit deep in turn 1. In the background, they look like there might have been contact. Up and over the line. It is Enzo Noel Deslandes that takes the win. Jared Pesh ends up in P4. Second place did go to Luc Fournier. And then it was, let me see, where's El Tioto? Is Lupe Ludovic down in P5. Right, 2 qualifiers done for all 3 of our platforms. Got 1 qualifier left to go from each of them before we get into our finals. Should be able to take a look in a minute at the standings and see whereabouts those drivers are with just 1 race to go. I've not actually scribbled down the results for everyone. I think Dorian Martin is the standout for me from Q1 and Q2 on PlayStation. We saw some strong driving on PlayStation earlier on today in the rally section. So definitely favourite for the TQ spot on that platform. Anything you like?
I thought that was an incredibly close race.
Yeah.
In terms of time, there's only about 2 seconds between the top 5 on that last race. So
not seeing the best of tactics, in my opinion. We've seen better, a more spread of joker tactics. I'm never a fan of a first corner joker.
No, but
people commit to it off the line,
yeah.
you know, so they go on going joker and they've committed to their decision early. Whereas I think places like Hollius the joker is only in turn 2, but it's a reaction to what happened at the start and turn 1. Whereas Hell and Portugal, people go on going on the first lap.
Yeah, it's definitely a strategy-based thing, but I think overall the strategy maybe isn't the best today I've seen.
Here's a quick look at the standings in Steam. So Sylvain Pelletier, who we're just talking about with the 2 wins. Lucas Mateja is second with Lucas Dall'Olmo. So the 2 Lucases equal on points in P2. So it's going to be tricky for them to try and beat Sylvain Pelletier. I think Pelletier will need to have a bit of a shocker. You're behind Lucas Dall'Olmo at the back of the grid. Pelletier, I think, is over on the far side. No, in the green car, sorry, next to. So Pelletier in the green polo, just to your right. You ride on board with Lucas Dall'Olmo, but Pelletier's won both the first 2. So like Dorian Martin, a good performance. And again, 3 cars into the joker. Look over the curbs on the inside, trying not to get a track penalty from in the game. Wow, that's going to be tight for me. Mowing down a few bollards, John. Yeah, there are in-game penalties here. Track limits at Montalegre are contentious at the best of times in real life. In the game, there are limits set, and I don't know that there won't be a bit of a penalty for that.
I think that's touch and go, whether they'll get a penalty or not, to be honest. We'll see after the race is finished, but a really good start again from Pelletier. So yeah, really, really good.
Pelletier leads the 3 cars who jokered. You're on board with Lucas Mateja. 2.8 is the gap back. Mateja going to go joker? No, go standard lap. So Lucas Mateja confident he can increase the gap right on the limit in that corner down at the end of the straight. 2.8, not a massive difference. He needs to try. I mean, that might be enough, John, but he's going to want to see that gap going the right way. 2.9. So potentially then Matejka could hold on. We know Matejka's class. We saw that in the Esports series earlier this year during the Europe-wide lockdown. We had some brilliant entertainment from the drivers of the World Rallycross Championship and the Esports contenders, and Matejka was right up there.
Definitely, you know, I think his favourite discipline is rallying. He's in his element right now. He doesn't have to fight with anyone. He can just push at the front.
Matejka goes standard lap again. So Matejka and Johansson have gone standard lap. The gap is pegged at 2.9. Back to Pelletier. Pelletier runs wide. So Pelletier runs wide and is now under pressure from Karjalainen.
Yeah, gap's up now to 3.4, so he's extending that. Hopefully, Lucas Matejka can increase the gap even more.
3.8, look, another 4/10. That's running wide at the end of the straight. That's all that is. So he's lost 4/10 from running wide and 4/10 from not carrying the speed on the exit. So Matejka has piled the pressure on, staying out front, which is mad because he's nowhere near the rest of the fight. Matejka now going to go Joker. Watch for Johansson in the background, just 1.6 off. Can Johansson come through on Pelletier as well? Looking for the Joker lap merge now. Look to the right-hand side. Pelletier coming into the braking zone. Not there, though. Whereabouts do they slot in? Pelletier goes P2. Karjalainen third. Del Olmo's at the back of the pack, but Matejka 1.1 seconds clear out front. Brilliant drive from Lucas.
Yeah, Mega, he's had really, really good pace in this race. I think he likes getting out in clean air, just pushing. Super job.
Lucas Matejka going to take the final qualifying race on Steam. PC crosses the line. Sylvain Pelletier going to come second to take the TQ spot. Then it's Karjalainen, Johansson and Del Olmo. Woo! Okay, good drive from Matejka. So Pelletier, yeah, Pelletier was the winner of the first two sessions, definitely on the TQ spot. Not sure what that win will do for Matejka. I can't remember where Matejka was coming into this one anyway. But that will definitely say that'll give us our TQ, top qualifier. If you're not familiar with the terminology of Rallycross, you should be. It's brilliant. And I'm slightly biased. But yeah, so Pelletier with the top qualifier spot on Steam. We've got two more top qualifier spots to give away, one for PS4 and one for Xbox. And then we're moving on to the finals. So this is the second of our three quarterfinals. There's another set of quarterfinals coming up in about 5 weeks' time. It's actually on December the 5th before the semi-finals on December the 19th. So if you want to be in the quarterfinals on December the 5th, you need to get practicing right now. John, how many hours a day? 8
hours a day. That's what you have to do. Get on it.
We're pointing at you. Point.
Do it.
8 hours a day. That's a lot of hours, man. But to be honest with you, I hate to say it, I think there's a bit of lockdown business going on. There's a few lockdowns that are creeping about in Europe, and there's a guy on the telly now. I know none of you are watching in the UK because you're busy watching this, but I think the Prime Minister's on the telly at the minute. I've got a feeling I'm going to come off air to not great news about what my activity is going to be for the next month. So, it's been delayed till 6:30. Are we? Till after we finish. Yes, Boris Johnson. You wait until the Esports is finished. That's right. We're not done here yet. That's why they've delayed it, by the way. The British government has delayed the announcement of a potential lockdown here in the UK because of the World Rallycross Championships Esports Series. That is the power of the FA World Rallycross Championship. Isn't that right, John?
Definitely, 100%. They were waiting.
That's right, yeah.
They thought we were actually on earlier, and they've kept putting it back.
Yeah,
once
they kept
realised.
putting it back. When it was scheduled for 4, hang on a minute, that's when the Esports quarterfinals on. Nobody's going to be watching. So that's right, they're going to wait. But I still think you're going to get bad news. So but if you're a big fan of playing Dirt Rally 2.0, it would be all right.
Well, that's it. You can practice on your esports skills. You could be here for Q3.
I'm going to launch my Twitch channel.
Who's going to commentate if you qualify for Qualifier 3?
Mate, I'll qualify myself. I'll do the commentary as well.
While you're driving?
Yeah. I'll be a baller.
Yeah. I think it could work.
I'll be here with the sim set up in the studio.
Never done before. Never done before.
It's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Right, are we ready? Yes, right. PlayStation standings going into the last qualifier. Dorian Martin out front from Damien French. Then we've got Sylvain Laville, Ryohei Iwami and Jeffrey Boulier looking at the points down the right-hand side. Ooh, super tricky look. French, Laville and Iwami all on 84 points each. Boulier needs to smash it here. But the other guys have had equal results. And Dorian Martin, I think, even if Dorian finished in last place here, that Dorian Martin would be on the pole. You are riding on board with Jeffrey Boulier. Is it Boulier that we said needed a bit of a miracle? I think it is. To your right is Damien French. To your left is Sylvain Laville. into turn one. Oh, a bit of carnage on the way into turn one. Tidy move from Jeffrey Boulier. Thank you very much. You run into each other, I'll go up the inside. So Boulier runs sideways, dropped it, surely going to get a car up the inside. How did nobody get up the inside there?
I think he just got a nice gap off this first corner. What a super move in the first corner, though.
Yeah.
He waited for a bit of contact, made his move up the inside.
Okay, the two cars at the back of this pack are absolutely miles off. We haven't seen the gap yet. Something happened in the background. I'm willing to bet G money that the stewards are going to be busy after this because it's a 4.1 second gap back. I haven't even seen the gap back to P4 and P5. They've both gone Joker, so they can't be too far off. Look, let's see what it is. Oh, mate,
It's
that's
massive.
a long way. That's a huge gap. Huge.
I didn't spot anything, but something's definitely amiss.
Well, there you go. You're on board. We said, didn't we, that it was Jeffrey Boulier we said that needed a bit of a miracle, wasn't it? Are we going to be taking a look back? I've got a funny feeling we might be having a look in a second at what happened in the start. But Jeffrey Boulier out front, is he going to go Joker? Is he going to go standard lap? It's 3.3 goes Joker. Watch for Boulier now, trying to cover off in the background. Dorian Martin, who's won both the races. Martin goes out to the outside. Inside now for Boulier, makes the pass at the merge. Lovely stuff. Dorian Martin couldn't respond there. The winner twice so far in qualifying in the classic RX2 coloured car has been done here by Jeffrey Boulier, who's at the back of the pack. So this is a brilliant drive by Boulier. Now, though, it's going to come down as to whether or not Ranovka, which is Ryohei Iwami, and Iwami did well last time, didn't he? And so Iwami here could put in a bit of a stormer on this last lap.
Yeah, he's got 2.3 seconds at the moment. Can he keep that? Can he build upon it? But really, really good from Jeffrey Boulier, and that's what I like about the merge here at Barcelona. You get that slingshot effect, and you can make a move up the inside.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It used to be turn one. I loved it as turn one. It's always been a great Joker merge because of the difference in speed. You cover the inside, they go outside. You cover the outside, they go inside. And then we get a bit of carnage down at the end of the straight here. Using all the paint now, Jeffrey Boulier has responded in the best possible way here. Fighting against, in front, I say it's Iwami who made it. Iwami was in the last quarterfinals but didn't make it through to the semis. I'm just looking back now to see. So Boulier, where was Boulier on my list? Yeah, didn't make the semi-finals last time. So, and was overall was first. Yeah, so went through on three, on cumulative time rather than outright fastest time. Into the Joker, riding on board with who was your leader, but drops down to P3. So the battle for the lead is out front. It's between Boulier and Martin. Martin, who won the first two races, hanging out wide, looking towards the inside line, but I'm sure Boulier won't make a mistake on the brakes now. Don't leave the door open, holds the door closed firmly. Best race so far in qualifying by an absolute mile. That's the kind of racing I like commentating on. Round to the finish line. It's a win for Boulier from the back of the standings to the top of the finishers in this one. Bit of carnage in turn one, definitely. So the winner here, DiRT Arrow, which is Jeffrey Boulier. P2 went to Dino 83, which is Dorian Martin, who won the first two. Then SHS Ranovka, which is Ryohei Iwami, getting P3. Next box, Damien French was definitely involved in something down at turn one. Sylvain Laville as well. No penalties in the game. Doesn't mean there won't be any penalties. 5 seconds lost, looking like it from the times which we were seeing on the screen there. Have we got any replays, race control, which we can take a look at? Can we take a look at anything from turn one? Ooh, okay, so Damien French issue is the word. That's what I've been given. We don't know what the issue was. What's this? Oh, there he is. That's an issue. Pow. Okay, so who was spun?
Yeah, and how was the other guy so far behind when he came in?
Yeah, there was something before that.
Yeah.
It was our screen's above the camera, by the way, if you're wondering why we're always looking up there. We're not watching any football or anything, or waiting for Boris Johnson.
Daydreaming.
Yeah, it's that's where our pictures are. Is there any chance, can we see the start at all? Is that possible? They're working on it. They're working on it. Imagine now if you're the Prime Minister just waiting
for us to make a decision.
Waiting for the replays. Right. Okay, we think somebody hit one of the tyre barriers in turn one. We're hearing. Going to have a look back and see why. No, we're not. We're gonna go. Don't worry about it. We'll have a look at it later. It's fine. It's all good. We must be onto Xbox because that's everything else finished. Okay, Xbox final race of qualifying. Not sure what the point standings are, I'm afraid, on this one. Lopez Ludovic is that the driver we're behind? I think it is. Down towards turn 1, Jared Pesh going to the Joker, sideways on the handbrake, trying to get an exit speed. Oh, into the wall in the background. That was Enzo Noldes-Landes, who I think won the previous race. Was certainly right up there. Somehow came back out though, bounced it out the wall and has carried on. Jared Pesh runs a bit deep. Enzo looks up the inside, maybe going to pass him. Des-Landes makes a pass. Pesh in the wall on the outside. Brings the car back in, desperately trying to defend his position. Drops down into P5. These three guys have had a bit of carnage. John, if I was one of those front two cars, I'd go Joker right now, but they won't know how far off the pace those guys are behind. P2, yes.
One car's went Joker, but yeah, what a messy first lap, especially from Patch. He had 2 incidents.
It's Luc Fournier's gone, drops back out behind, so drops in behind Enzo Noldes-Landes. So actually that didn't work out, considering Enzo was in the wall thanks to that contact with Pesh up in the Joker. Has come back out into P2. And I thought there that Luc Fournier might have had enough. Well, of course, Fournier, did he Joker from P2? Yes. So probably then, if VRX Primity went now, which is Cosno Maxence, then maybe could defend it, but going to go standard lap. Bold.
I think he's just trying to go as fast as he can to the finish until he has to take that Joker on the next lap.
I think the gap was 3.3 a minute ago when we saw the Joker from P2 drop into P3. So that was Luc Fournier, wasn't it? Yeah, so Luc Fournier Joker and dropped down into P3. So I don't think 3.3 is enough, and it's 3.1 at the minute. So Cosmo Maxence out front has got to put in a banger of a lap. 3.2 takes a 10th back. On to the final lap now, going to have the Joker this time round over the line. So we want to see P2, Senzo 0113, Enzo Noldes-Landes. Going to come out where as VRX Primity held on. Side by side, it looks like at the merge. Down to the bottom of the hill, it was close between them. But VRX Primity does hold on, so Cosno Maxence did well. It was only about 3.2. The gap into the inside spin, who was that? Luc Fournier. Luc Fournier drops back. We've had a disconnection as well from the looks of things. I can only see 4 cars on the screen at the moment. Fournier drops the back there, parked at the side of the road. So parked at the side of the road was Jared Pesh. Jared Pesh retired. The car was on track. You could see that. VRX Primity taking the win by a small margin, only 0.6 of a second, ahead of Enzo Noldes-Landes. Then it was El Tioto, which is Lopez Ludovic. Ukiki 62 is Luc Fournier. And then Jared, I'd say Jared SP7 is Jared Pesh. You'll have to forgive us. Car ID, when they're using usernames against their real names, is really, really difficult. So have a go at it sometime and you'll know what we mean. Thankfully, once we get to the finals, maybe the semi-finals, they have to race with their real names, which is my favourite thing ever. In case I don't know if I've ever mentioned it. Have I ever mentioned that before, John?
Maybe once, maybe once.
Up the steam for the real names. Mega. Right, okay, qualifying over and done with. I think we know who a couple. I think Sylvain Pelletier is one TQ. I think Dorian Martin is another TQ. We didn't see the points ahead of Xbox, but I'm pretty sure it won't be Jared Pesh after retiring from that last one. Who do you think it's going to be in Xbox from that last lot? I don't know.
I think Enzo Noel was
had a couple of decent results, even though he was in the wall at the start of that one.
He done super well to come back.
Yeah, bounced out nicely, and it can be that sometimes. Yeah. It's a bit like in rally where you drop a wheel down, you hit the wall, you're like nah, and then it flicks you nicely into the next apex. Like
just keep it flat.
Keep
on
it
throttle.
lit, mate. Keep it lit.
Keep your foot down.
Yeah, if in doubt, flat out. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, just hope for the best.
Hope for the best. I saw an onboard with John Armstrong, not the World Rallycar one that we mentioned earlier, the Fiesta R5 one the other day over the jump. And was that flat out and hope for the best?
Yeah, I actually went faster over that jump with the little Fiesta ST the year before.
Yeah?
And then with the R2, I braked a little bit. I
heard you brake just before it, and I wasn't. That was fine.
Yeah,
you were
but
brave
it still
through the previous 2 corners.
really high, and then it lands, obviously being a front-wheel drive car, no aero, it lands on its nose. I think that one shook my brain a little bit.
Did it?
Maybe that's the way I am.
It's the way he is. Has it made you faster? Brain shake?
Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see. Well, no, what did you do since then? The World Rallycar, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've done.
You won the rally, didn't you?
Yeah, that was how many years later?
I don't know.
5, 6 years.
5 years later?
Yeah.
He's been at it a long time, hasn't he? Someone who looks so young. Hey? 20 years on me?
I'm 25. What age are you?
I can't reveal that, I'm afraid. I've got a showbiz age.
No.
Of course I haven't. No, I'm mid-40s, mate, unfortunately. That's where he goes, I don't look it, I know, that's fine, don't worry about it. We're just waiting, if you're wondering, as you probably always are, as to why me and John get so digress so much. We're just waiting on the scores being totted up so we can see who's on pole in each of these.
Should we pick our favourite car of the day?
Yeah, we could go through car of the day.
We need to bring a new car next time.
Hold on, you're going to have to wait with the scores. I'm ever so sorry, but we're just in the middle of discussing which our favourite car is. Mine is the 206 WRC today, but I'm a little bit disappointed with how yellow the wheels are. Could you just grab that for me? So the wheels have been slightly discoloured. I don't think you can see that. Yeah, you can.
Just about.
I'd have to have those re-prepped. But I had a red Peugeot
painted.
206. Mine was a 206 Cup car, but I loved it for being the same red as the factory cars.
It needs to go for a valet as well. It's
Yeah,
all
it does.
dusty inside.
Well, it's a bit rally, isn't it, at least? It's a bit rally. There you go. So your favourite car, John? We'll have to be quick 'cause the results are ready.
I'll go with the Evo.
He was quick. Okay, what have we got the results of first? Everything? Steam. Okay, let's take a look at the Steam. Okay, we've got the results for everything. We're going to look at the Steam standings first of all. Sylvain Pelletier takes the top qualifier spot from Lucas Mateja. Mateja with the win in Q3 up to P2. Then it's Lucas Del Olmo, Michael Karjalainen and Daniel Johansson. So Johansson from the outside of the grid. But remember, we know Johansson's a class act. Not going to have it all his own way against a grid like that. But Pelletier, the favourite, can't count out Lucas Mateja. The top two will go through. Lucas Del Olmo quick as well. So I say all to play for in that final race, but that is going to be that's going to be the lineup on the grid, and that of course is Steam, which is in Norway. So Portugal. Sorry, they're in Portugal. So that's turn one Joker hairpin. I'd quite fancy the pole in that. If I was Pelletier, I'd be quite pleased with that. Okay, on to what are we on to? PlayStation. Let's take a look at PlayStation. Dorian Martin does take. Look at that. Jeffrey Bourlier, I think, was in last place. Yeah, he was. Coming into that last session, and the win has dragged him up into P2. Ryohei Iwami ends up third. Damien French goes fourth. Sylvain Laville is in fifth. Now, the PlayStation drivers are at Barcelona, so Dorian Martin has the inside line for that tight hairpin. Again, yes, it's where you want to be, but we've seen a bit of carnage in turn one, so let's see whether or not that's going to work out for him. Final standings for Xbox coming up. Cosno Maxence with the pole. This was the one we weren't sure about. Luc Fournier, look, on identical points to Enzo Noel Des Landes. For some reason, that's been decided in that direction, so that will be on countback of some sort. A session win there for three different drivers, so maybe the most open of the three categories. Jared Pesch, who I say we know is a class act, but for me hasn't had it go his way in qualifying. Keep your eye out for Pesch in the final, and Lopez Ludovic down in fifth place. So that is Xboxes, of course, at Norway. So Cosno Maxence on the inside line. And that's the one, John, for me, where you can, if you want, and I think it's a great tactic, just push them all wide. It's what Backerud did to Solberg in the semi-finals when he knew he couldn't beat the Polo. I can't remember what he's in. It might have been the Focus RS RX. And he forced Petter to joker with him. Because, you know, inside, Backerud had the pole, Solberg's outside him. If you let Solberg take a different strategy to you in the Polo, he's gone.
Yeah.
And he pushed him into the Joker. And then, of course, because he's inside him in the Joker as well, done.
Yeah, 100%. As long as you can make sure you come out of the Joker lap in front and you're taking your main rival with you, all you have to do is keep them behind you the rest of the race.
That's what I want to see Cosno Maxence do. If you're watching, like, get stuck in there. We can see some highlights from, is this highlights from all the qualifying? Are we going to take a look at highlights overall? We are. We're going to take a look at highlights overall. We'll be back with you in a minute. Finals time for the FA World Rallycross Championship Esports Series 2020. We're at the quarter-final stages. There are 3 quarter-finals. We had one, of course, a few weeks ago. We've got one in December before we go to the semi-finals, and then the live land final in early 2021. So if you want to get stuck in and see if you could be being commentated on by myself and John and saying your name terribly badly, then you can have a go this week from Tuesday at qualifying via the brilliant Dirt Rally 2.0 from Codemasters. Fantastic game. They've got another title coming out soon, Dirt 5, so you need to get amongst that as well if you fancy a bit of fun with your mates. But for the hardcore rallycross fan, yeah, this is where you need to be. You can start, I say, from next Tuesday. We're going to be open for the Q3. But it is final time. This is what it's all about. 5 cars on the line. We're with Steam, first of all. Sylvain Pelletier on the pole. And we've got Lucas Mateja and Lucas Dal Olmo to the left in the red and white. So you are behind Mateja, on board with Mateja now. Lucas Mateja got a great start on the run down towards turn 1. Looks like he may have a better start than Pelletier on the inside. Comes past now, though. Who's going to go down to the final corner? Surely not everyone. 4 in. That has worked out perfectly for Lucas Mateja. That is exactly what he wants. Look in the background. There's a bundle going on in the background. He'll be losing time left, right and centre. Mateja's the favourite for me immediately, John.
And we know Lucas Mateja is really good on his own. He can just push and do his own thing and go on a nice rhythm. So he's going to be very, very hard to catch right now.
Pelletier's in P5. The pole man, the top qualifier, Sylvain Pelletier, has dropped to P5. 4 cars went joker. Lucas Dal Olmo trying to make a pass. Got alongside Daniel Johansson for just a second there. Karjalainen at the minute is in P2. Remember, of these guys, it's only the person in second place that's going to go through with the winner. Lucas Mateja goes standard lap. The gap is 3.1.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really tricky to get past Lucas, but who can get P2? That's what the battle's for, and it's on the track.
Yeah, Karjalainen with a little bit of a gap. Look, 0.7 of a second between Karjalainen and Johansson, who you're looking at now. Johansson will know he's going to have to make a pass on track because he'll be able to see the same indicators on his screen.
I think Johansson isn't as quick as Karjalainen, and he's going to be holding the guys up behind him.
Perfect for Karjalainen then, because you know this. Even if he's not quite as quick as maybe the ultimate pace, and I'm not saying he isn't. You can't be slow to be at this level, but he's got a bit of pressure. He's got Johansson acting as a rear gunner, but the gap's gone up to 3.8. Mateja's taken another 0.7 off them.
Mateja has this in the bag. All he has to do is keep at the same pace and make no mistakes. Have a good joker lap. 6 laps as well, John. So you know he's only 3 laps into this. It's a normal 4-lap race. You don't have very long to be able to get that gap up. He's taken 0.7 off them in the last one. It's gone up again. It's gone up to 4.2. So if you're Mateja, I'd wait another lap. You don't want to be anywhere near them in case you make a mistake. If he's got the pace, why not just keep pushing? Yeah, he might go to the last lap and try to extend that as far as he can and just have a nice bumper to come out in front. 4.6 the gap now. Lucas Mateja is checking out front. I'm pretty staggered that 4 cars went in, and again now maybe a move. Karjalainen not quite quick enough on the exit. Daniel Johansson all over him, but couldn't find a way through. Difficult to pass here. This is a massive battle to get that P2. The guys are taking as much risk as they can. They're pushing and bumping each other, trying to make each other make a mistake. Let's see if they can do it. Johansson applying the pressure to Karjalainen, maybe just a little nudge. Dal Olmo looks to the inside of Johansson, maybe going to get through, not quite. Pelletier's right there hoping to pick up the pieces. He could really do the shunt in front of him. But Mateja has a 5.1 second lead. Has he gone joker in the background? I'm not sure. Mateja, no. On the standard lap, still 5.0. It's come down by a 10th, but at 5 seconds, it's easily enough, John. I think he's just checked out now. He's not taking any risk. He doesn't want any cuts or anything that's going to give him a penalty. He's just being nice and neat and tidy. So neat and tidy by Mateja out front. Scrappy in the background. Full-on punch up for P2. Karjalainen just ahead of Johansson. Dal Olmo is there as well, piling that pressure on. Pelletier just didn't work out at the start. What a shame for Sylvain. Not going to be able to make it stick this time. Lucas Mateja goes joker in the distance. 5.5 was the gap. He won't even need to look in his mirrors. There he is. Look, he's a full 10, 15 car lengths in front. Karjalainen has just a few corners to go to try and hold on. Oh, Dal Olmo's piling it on still to Johansson. Looks to the inside of Daniel Johansson. Oh, and he's made a mistake. Dal Olmo clips the barrier on the inside. It was all or nothing. Bin it or win it. And unfortunately, this time round, he binned it. So Dal Olmo drops to the back of the pack. He'll have to try for the last set of quarterfinals. Out front, Mateja has taken the win. Karjalainen going to come through to go P2. And it's Karjalainen who qualifies.
Johansson gets third, Pelletier fourth, and Delorme with a mistake on the final lap trying to get through. But Lucas Mateja with a brilliant drive, the only driver not to joker on lap 1, goes through with Karjalainen in P2. No penalties in game. They're your 2 semi-finalists. I
think that was a nice, clean, fair race. What a start from Lucas Mateja, taking the undercut approach again. You could see it. He just slammed on the brakes. I thought, is there something wrong with him? But everyone flying into the joker lap and into turn 1 he went.
Yeah, mad that everybody, we saw earlier on today, if you weren't watching, we saw all 5 cars go joker, which is an absolute nightmare. John rightly pointed out, in game, obviously, you've only got the screen in front of you. If you're all level and you all think you've got that whole shot, you're going to go for it. But you've got to be, you know, that's where you need VR, really, isn't it? Take a little glance left and right and see what's going on.
Yeah, the guys will be able to flick, you know, they can have buttons assigned to look left or right. So it depends if they have the time to do that while they're focusing on having a perfect start and getting up the straight as fast as they can. And they can look behind too. But at the start,
there's a lot going on, isn't there?
There's blind spots as well, isn't there? So it's quite difficult.
Yeah. There we go. Very difficult indeed. You saw that yourself in real life last weekend. Christopherson said he looked left. He couldn't see back or he shut the door. That's it. You know, that's what it's like at the start. You're wearing a Hans device. You've got big wings down the side of the seat here. You've got a window net. Don't forget all those things are in game. So you have things which cause blind spots for you off the start line. But Mateja, a master stroke to get on the brakes early and not get sucked in. It's easy, isn't it? When you go, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose. I'll go with them. We've all gone joker.
You need a lot of confidence, though, to pull that off and know that you're making the right decision. And then we've seen such a battle behind that for P2. And, yeah, the guys just couldn't get past. And even though they were right up behind P2, they just couldn't make a move. And, yeah, Lucas Delorme made that mistake at the end and hasn't got through, and his 2 brothers have. So I think there's a bit of pressure there to get through with his brothers, and hopefully he can do it on the next qualifier.
Indeed, nothing coming up on the on our WhatsApp group, which is for strongly worded WhatsApps from the stewards. So I think we're pretty much sorted there. We've got, of course, still PS4 and Xbox coming up for you. I don't know how long it'll be before we can get those guys. We're just about ready. So I think we're going to go for a PS4 grid. Let's go and take a look. Back to Barcelona. Inside, left-hand side of your picture, Dorian Martin. And then Jeffrey Boulier in the gold and black coloured car. So Jeffrey, who was last in qualifying up until the final qualifying race, won that one and stuck himself second on the grid. A good start by Boulier. Poleman gone backwards, Dorian Martin is not there. Boulier shuts the door, runs Iwami ride. But then he's going to get the whole shot. That's okay. That's maybe going to get looked into, because to me that's pushing people off track limits. You ride on board with Dino 03, gets pushed wide though. Dorian Martin comes back through, and that's maybe a little bit of a thank you very much for the contact in the first corner. So TRX3 Smooky, which is Sylvain Laville, was the one who got stuck in the first corner. Into the joker lap has gone Ryohei Iwami. So Iwami goes joker on the first lap. Remember, with 6 laps, that could be a bit of a master stroke if he can get the lap times in now. He was further back in the field.
He needs to push as fast as he can now that he's got that free air in front of him. And, yeah, drive as fast as he ever has.
What did you think of when we came out to the wide shot, John, and you could see there TX3 Smooky was just kind of, you can squeeze people, but was that just pushing him off track? I mean, I don't know.
I didn't get a good enough look at it, I must admit. It was a tricky one to spot. It was a messy start, I'm not going to
It was a messy start. We were on board, weren't we, with Jeffrey Boulier, who for me got a brilliant start. Boulier actually is still in P2. So Boulier and also Dorian Martin. So your top 2 qualifiers are out front at the minute. And if I were them, I'd probably want to stay there and just see if you can gap the rest of the field. They've got 3.1 over next box already. What have they got? They've got 4.3, look. So GRT Arrow, Jeffrey Boulier, has 4.3 seconds over TX3 Smooky, which is enough for the joker.
Yeah, it should be enough, and they just need to keep pushing. We just seen a crash. Who was that? Someone just had a crash in the
which colour?
The black and pink.
Who went off? Black and pink is Ryohei Iwami. Made a mistake, did he?
Yeah, he was trying to get up the inside of someone and hit the tyre barrier.
Right, so he would have been in a fight. I'm pretty sure could only have been in a fight with SHZ Renovka, which is, oh sorry, that is Iwami. Sorry, he would have been in a fight with Smooky, which is Sylvain Laville. Both those guys are jokered. Yeah, and you can see he's nowhere. So Smooky is on the back of next box. The next box in P3 is going to get eaten up by Smooky, but it's about the gaps further back. It looks to me like Dorian Martin has the measure here in terms of pace, because the gap's going up to Jeffrey Boulier. It's gone up to 1.3, maybe 1.4. Here we go. Check the gaps now. back to P2 is 1.7, so it's gone up again. But what's the gap back to P3? Yeah, 1.7 to 6.4 is 5 seconds. I'd go now. If I were Jeffrey Boulier, I'd be tempted to go now. The only problem is whether you get in contact with next box at the merge. Yeah,
I think Boulier is probably tempted just to stick with Martin until the finish here and stick in for P2 and qualify.
Just go on the last lap. Yeah, and neither of them's gone this time round. So John Armstrong with the tactics. John, of course, you took part in the Esports events earlier on this year. I think you raced against the real-life drivers of the World Rallycross Championship and the Esports Pros, didn't you?
Yeah, it was so tricky trying to battle against those guys because I've never really done Esports in Rallycross before, and you definitely have to get your arms out, elbows out, and just work your way through. But yeah, finished P2 in the one Montalegre, which was amazing.
That against the Esports guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, he's right up there. He's no slouches. He's not allowed to enter, unfortunately, for you guys. Good for me. Need him alongside here. He's got the maths. Yeah, we're right on board with HRI RX Dino 83, Dorian Martin. I say classic RX2 colours. Putting in a proper classic RX2 championship leading performance here. This is the sort of thing that you'd see Kevin Eriksson, Oliver Eriksson do. P2 has gone Joker. So Jeffrey Boulier has gone Joker and has come out in front of next box. So there's one lap to go. So this now then is about whether or not Jeffrey Boulier can close the gap down. I personally think Dorian Martin has enough speed.
Yeah, he's got a massive gap already. He's got more than enough in hand, so I think it's very comfortable what he needs to do.
Here comes Boulier now around the long right-hander, watching in the distance. Our leader's going to go Joker. Yeah, he's miles in front. So into the Joker lap now goes Dorian Martin. He won 2 of the qualifying races to stick himself on the TQ, and he's a clear leader as he comes past the Joker merge, a long way in front of Jeffrey Boulier. Boulier with that win in Q3, managing to get himself up into second place in qualifying, and somehow after that very messy start has held on to P2 here as well. But Dorian Martin going through for me as a very strong contender, whether this car just suits him or this circuit, but he's thrashed them. Dorian Martin wins the quarterfinal stages here for quarters 2. Over the line in P2, Jeffrey Boulier takes the second spot in the semi-finals. You're on board with Ryohei Iwami. Made a mistake trying to make a pass, tapped the barrier. No penalties in game, and I have to be honest and say that I think if there were going to be any penalties, I'm just going to check my phone now and see. We've got nothing appearing on the screen. So I personally think, John, that the two up top there, our two leaders, so Dorian Martin and Jeffrey Boulier, they weren't, I wouldn't say, weren't the instigators of any things down in turn 1. I mean, we'll see. The stewards will have a good look back at it from all the angles. They can see the onboards and the different cars. What do you reckon?
Yeah, exactly. I think they were innocent there, and obviously they've qualified, so hopefully there's no stewards' decisions, and the results will stay as they are.
Okay, so we think we've got our 2 qualifiers there in Dorian Martin and Jeffrey Boulier. There we go. I think they've gone through for PS4. Big line through that. We've got 1 to go, which is just Xbox. Going to flip that over and have a look at our likely suspects. Now, was it Xbox? It was Xbox, wasn't it? Which was a bit more mixed up in terms of who'd won what session. So both PS4 and Steam, we'd seen 2 wins for 1 driver. So you had kind of a clear favourite from the qualifying stages. But now we've got, in this one, 3 different people won 3 different qualifiers. For me, the TQ man on the inside, which is Cosno Maxence, I think. Who are we on board with here? Okay, I'm stuck a little bit as to why Maxence is on the outside of the grid, if that's who we're with. Was it Cosno Maxence that was pole? Not sure. Okay, down towards the first corner, maybe Maxence was running. No, we're with El Tito. So who's pushed anyone wide in turn 1? 3 cars gone standard lap. Or maybe 2 gone Joker. Yes, okay, so in the background, Enzo Noel Deslandes has gone Joker. And behind Ukiki, which is Luke Fournier. So almost a spin at the bottom of the hill there. El Tioto Lopez Ludovicic went a little bit wide. You're on board in P4, coming up to those top 3. They're having a scrappy run here. Jared Pesh is in P2. Pass there. Tidy. Into that last corner. A bounce on the jump at the top of the hill. Has anybody gone Joker this time round? Where is Jared Pesh? Jared has into the Joker lap. So side by side, Jared has gone into the Joker lap, but has dropped back down the order as well. So at the minute, Enzo Noldes Landes is in P2. Senzo 0113 is in P2.
But Luke Fournier is all over the back of him. Can he make a move into that P2 slot? I think they're probably slowing each other up, and this has fallen into the hands for Maxine's.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that we didn't see a move from Maxence, Cosno Maxence in the first corner. I was hoping to see the big push wide, stick everyone off, but went sensible. Fair enough. I mean, you know, I'm a commentator. I want to see that bit of excitement in turn one. He didn't go for it. The gap's 2.6, so there's two battles here. Basically, this is about whether or not Cosno Maxence is quick enough to gap these guys behind John, because they're super close, look. So you've got Enzo Nol Deslandes in the white, red and blue car, and then you've got Luc Fournier in the black car. But I suppose it doesn't, well, no, it does matter. If they hold each other up, they give him a place in the final.
The gap is going up, so I think they're losing time battling each other. So
which is kind of pointless, isn't it? Because if they went together, they might both go through. You see what I mean? And our leader then, Cosno Maxence, if he can't match their lap times, drops back. But at the minute, the gap has gone up by another 10th.
Yeah, the gap is extending. So really, these guys are battling for that P2 slot, in my opinion.
So it's going to be a pass on track again for P2 between these two drivers. This not so easy.
Luc Fournier's second time here as well. He didn't get through the last time, so he's going to be very desperate to get through.
Is Fournier going to do something desperate? Go on, have a look. I don't. It's not fair, is it, on Enzo Nol Deslandes? I'm sure Enzo will want to hold on to that position as well. The gap is now 3.0, 3.3 back to Luc Fournier. So it's super tight between them. It's just a question of whether or not it's enough. Now it's 2.8. Look, it's seesawing that gap at the front, John.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of management going on from P1. He's under no pressure at the moment. The gap is coming down again,
yeah, 2.7 now, so there's only 2 laps to go. No, sorry, on to the final lap now, are we? Yes, we are. So this time round, has to go Joker in, backs it in. It's a tidy Joker lap now. Down towards the merge for Cosno Maxence, only just in front. Behind, Enzo Nol Deslandes will try, maybe, doesn't need to make a move, of course, just keep the door shut on Luc Fournier behind. So this is about Fournier versus Deslandes in the background. 2 wheels off on the inside, track limits, John, pretty tricky. Have a look up the inside now in the background. Luc Fournier, is he side by side? He's not quite there. Enzo just holding on. Fournier goes deep. Defensive there from Deslandes. Coming around, though, to take the win. VRX Primity at the top of the hill. Cosno Maxence goes through. Enzo Nol Deslandes takes P2. Third place, Luc Fournier just misses out on the second attempt. I suspect you'll see some of these guys back again for the final set of quarterfinals in December. And coming up to finish, Lopez Ludovicic, LT Auto. That is it, done and dusted. Xbox as well. We think that we are sending through Cosno Maxence and Enzo Nol Deslandes from this one. There's one more place up for grabs from the semis, of course. There's only 5 go through, so I think there's one place in the quarterfinals next time, so it will just be the winner. And then it will be, in the semi-finals, it'll be the same, only the top 5 through. So, okay. Good stuff. All 3 finished. That's it, we're done. Quicker than last time.
Yeah, it was good though. That last race was really, really close. Luc Fournier, I think he'll be kicking himself now. It's tough to pick yourself up again. That's twice he hasn't got through. And of course, like you said, it's going to be harder the next time with only 1 spot up for grabs. Yeah,
okay. So we're waiting on some results. We're getting some totting up done, then we're going to be able to bring you our finalists. We hope you've enjoyed the action today. I'm Andrew Coley. This is John Armstrong. This is our second time together on the sofas. Sofas, armchairs, whatever. At Silverstone, we're at Motorsport Games HQ, bringing you all the action from the World RX Esports Series on Dirt Rally 2.0. We had as well, of course, Dirt Rally World Series earlier on today. It's brilliant. I love this game. I know it's not even the latest game. You know, it's a couple of years old now, John, isn't it? But it's still very playable. I've just discovered the GT cars in Rally. I've got hours of fun to come.
Yeah, and you're still playing on controller. Imagine what it's going to be like when you get that Thrustmaster wheel.
You think we need to? Is it going to be a Thrustmaster wheel? Is that what we need to get?
We've a little bit of digging to do, but we'll see what we can get.
There's
sorted.
one in the other room. Why don't we just distract the guys here at Motorsport Games? Tell them there's a problem in here, and we'll just do one and stick it. I'll bring the van next time instead of my wife's car.
I was thinking it wouldn't fit in the Polo.
No, but, well, I'll take the seats out. It's not my car. I'll just leave some of the seats here. Maybe they won't notice if I leave sort of one of the seats in the office and take the big rig. What do you think?
Maybe you could ratchet strap it to the roof.
Oh mate, I don't know about that. It's
Mr.
very
Bean
wet.
job.
Yeah, it's very very
top.
wet. I could drive it like a stunt driver. You know, when you have the stunt driver sitting on the road, I'll just drive home like that, get a bit wet.
while eating your pizza?
Yeah, I'm going to take some pizza home. That's going to be. I've had pizza. Let's put it this way: my diet has not been good today, but it's been a good fun day. That's fine. Right, here we go. Let's see who's made it through. We're going to take a look. So your winners then today, going through from the quarterfinals to the semi-finals: Lucas Matasia and Michael Karjalainen in Steam. On PlayStation, Dorian Martin and Jeffrey Boulier. Boulier with a brilliant job to get up from 5th in quali to 2nd on the grid and then to go through. Cosno Maxence and Enzo Noldes Landes going through on the Xbox. 6th through. We've got a few spaces left. So we have one more set of quarterfinals to come. And, yeah, we're looking forward to seeing who's going to be our final semi-finalists. I've had a brilliant day today. Thank you very much to John Armstrong for joining me on commentary duty. So we've got one last set of quarterfinals to come before we move on to the semi-finals and then the final. And, yeah, it's going to be action all the way. So thanks for joining us. We will leave you with some highlights and we'll see you next time.